Welcome to the Bible reading journey, where we are traveling cover to cover from Genesis to Revelation in a year. If you have been here before, welcome back. If you are just joining us, welcome to the journey. And just jump in where we are because it is never too late to start. Lighthouse Ministry is happy to be traveling this road with you. Today, we are on day number 49 of the Bible reading journey. Today's reading itinerary is the book of Numbers, chapters 31 through 33. You might want to pause here and first dive into today's reading for yourself. Then join us back here for thoughts about today's journey. Today's journey is about the last days of a great leader. As usual, you can find the outline of the book of Numbers in your text notes to help us along the way. We are on section 3 of the outline. In today's Bible reading, we read about Moses' leadership, wisdom, and travels. In chapter 31, we read about Moses' leadership. It is actually helpful to reread chapter 25, as today's chapter 31 picks up where the story in chapter 25 left off. We find out that Baalum was the instigator of the Midianites wooing the Israelites to stray, physically and spiritually. We remember that chapter 25 ended with God saying to Moses, "Attack the Midianites and destroy them, because they assaulted you with deceit and tricked you into worshiping Baal of Peor." That is chapter 25, verse 16. Today we read in chapter 31, verse 7, that Moses did as the Lord had commanded. We also read in chapter 31, verse 49, that not one single Israelite died in the military attack. Then moving to chapter 32, Moses' wisdom. We read that Moses got very upset when two of the tribes asked to settle in the land east of the Jordan River instead of where they were all headed west across the Jordan River. While it is an all-new generation, Moses remembers what happened last time the Israelites made it this close to the Promised Land. He retells the account in chapter 32, verses 8 through 13. Ending with this declaration in verses 14 through 15. "But here you are, a brood of sinners, doing exactly the same thing. You are making the Lord even angrier with Israel. If you turn away from him like this, and he abandons them again in the wilderness, you will be responsible for destroying this entire nation." The situation teeters on the balance of Moses' decision on how to handle their request. The rest of chapter 32 shows the wisdom of Moses as he successfully handles a compromise that enables them all to continue to do as the Lord had commanded. Verse 31. And lastly, we move to Moses' travels in chapter 33. Moses recounts their extensive travels from Egypt to their current location along the Jordan River across from Jericho. He ends the travel recap with instructions from the Lord about what to do when they cross the Jordan River into the land of Canaan. They must drive out all the people living there, destroy all items and places made for false gods, and divide the land among the tribes according to the size of the tribes. And then the location of the land for each tribe would be determined by casting sacred lot. An extra warning was given in verse 55. But if you fail to drive out the people who live in the land, those who remain will be like splinters in your eyes and thorns in your sides. They will harass you in the land where you live. We can relate to how annoyingly painful a splinter can be in our hand or foot. But can you imagine in your eye? And if the threat of disobedience to this command, being like a splinter in their eye and a thorn in their side, wasn't enough, God added this consequence in verse 56. And I will do to you what I had planned to do to them. Why does it seem so harsh? Because God is protecting them from the ungodly influences and from their own sinful ways. He alone knows all and knows what is best for them. Do we have any things or relationships or places in our lives that we know God wants us to drive out of our lives? Do we obey or let it fester like a splinter in our eye and a thorn in our side? The thought of the day comes from the Daily Walk Bible. A little sin will add to your trouble, subtract from your energy, and multiply your difficulties. The challenge of the day also comes from the Daily Walk Bible. Carry a pair of tweezers with you today as a reminder that what you fail to remove now will only fester and cause more pain in the future. The text notes contain information on how to find us on YouTube, Facebook, and email. Happy travels today. See you next time. This is Lisa at Lighthouse. God bless.